Hey guys, this is JDog11177 here. I'm making this video mostly so that you guys can, mostly so that I can answer all these questions that you guys have about the issues that I'm having, and just kind of go over everything because, frankly, typing out a response is kind of getting annoying. Really briefly, I want to say that I have gone through the vast majority of all of these tips and tricks that you guys have pointed out, but I think one of you, let's see who mentioned it. So right here, Oinky Pig, you said what you really need in order to help is view of HW info, clock speeds, power draw, all this stuff. So I am going to be going through all of that in this video, and I'll be pulling it up on screen so you guys can see it. I'll also be pulling up Warzone so you guys can see the frame issue that I'm getting. So without further ado, let's get into that. So first thing, you said that you really need the HW info, so let's go ahead and pull that up. Is that this one? I want to say it is. Yeah, okay, so there it is. So I'm going to run it in full mode instead of just sensors only. So let's pull that over here. And this guy over here. Okay, so I'm not really sure exactly what you need. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be this one, though. Or sensors at the very least. So we'll go ahead and pull up sensors as well. Let's get down to CPU stuff. Okay, so I'll pull that up. I'll pull up the CPU Z as well. As soon as it wants to load, there we go. Okay, and then really quick, I'm just going to do a quick benchmark so you guys can see. Right now I do have my clock ratio forced to 43 gigahertz. And I tend to get pretty good scores in Cinebench R15 from having it set to that number. I tried having the volts set to auto, and I actually got worse performance off of that. So I think I have it forced to, it should tell me the volts, shouldn't it? Somewhere. I can't really tell all too well. I'm also going to go ahead and pull up my GPU Z. Oh, hello. Okay, so I also got this here. That's pretty cool. I didn't know I had that. So yeah, they're all set to 43 gigahertz right now on all 11 cores, which is interesting because I have 12 cores. Whoa, what did I do? There we go. Active clock. So let's go ahead and do, where's my GPU Z? There it is. Now, one of the questions that you guys were having is it all PCIe 16 across the board? So yes, I do have PCIe X16 4.0, and I do have it running in 4th gen mode. I did have it running originally in 3rd gen. I went into my BIOS and updated it to 4th gen. While I was there, I also just did a straight up update on my BIOS. And that didn't seem to do much for me at all. So yeah, I hope that this information here helps you guys out in figuring out what I got going on. I do want to run a quick Cinebench just to show you guys kind of how things are looking. So if you keep an eye over here, you'll see the current temps and the maximum temps for the CPU, and when this is done, we can check out the scores. So let's go ahead and run this right now. Doesn't take very long at all. And that's actually not terrible. So I have played with it quite a lot, and I've got it up to 3370. But I think at that point, I was running in 45 gigahertz, and I had my volts up to, I think, 1.45 or 1.46. And the problem with that one is it got way too hot. I was up in the 90 degrees Celsius range. And when I looked at it online, it said for this particular CPU, you don't want to go over 95 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, you're going to risk, melting your chip. So don't even want to get close to 90. I would rather stay in a close, happy 75 to 85 degrees Celsius range because it is liquid cooled, and I know it can sustain that pretty well. So we saw right here that the temperatures went up to about 65 degrees. Now, if I just keep running this, it'll usually cap at about 70 if I just keep doing this before giving it a chance to cool down. But I don't think that this is actually doing anything for you guys. So I wanted to show you guys that. Let's see, what else did you ask for? Run MSI Afterburner and create an OSD overlay so you can create a screenshot with all that info. GPU power draw, CPU power draw, CPU clock speeds, GPU clock speeds, GPU voltage, etc. while in a Warzone game. Okay, so I have kind of seen what you guys are talking about there. So let's see, let's pull up MSI Afterburner. And I have played with this a little bit. Let's see, I think it's the on-screen display. Toggle on-screen display, let's switch that to F12. So let's see, this should... I want to say this is going to show me everything, but I'm just not sure. So we'll see if that works. Let's pull up Warzone real quick. Sorry, this is going to take a second because it is. That's why. Yeah, I played a little bit with the Riva Tuner statistics, whatever. And I did play around with that a little bit. So, not super unfamiliar with what you guys are talking about over here. Let's see if it'll let me pull it up. So I got into Warzone. Let's see if I can figure out, because I'm in full screen mode right now. Let's switch to borderless so I can move the screen around. Okay, so let's see, does F12 work? No, F12 is not wanting to work. Let's open up my OBS real quick. Oh, you guys can see kind of my screen here. Interesting. Okay. Let's see if I can switch screens. I'm not too familiar with OBS. That's why this is going to take... I mean, it's a little bit of a learning curve. I suppose that I could just come in here and go into options, and for the most part, or let's just make it windowed for a moment, and bring it on over here so you guys can see it. So right now in windowed, I mean, it's actually still doing good. It's bouncing around at about, 120 to 160, 150 and 140 being the common frames there. But as you'll notice, as soon as I go to move my mouse around, it drops down to about 90, sometimes 80, even when I have it in full screen or full screen borderless mode. So that's one of the issues that I'm having. I'll go to look around or move around or anything, and it drops down pretty harsh. Since I do have this open, you guys can kind of see, actually, what my GPU and stuff is doing. I don't know if this helps you at all, or... having the game running with this stuff open. I can't figure out how to get my overlay open. On-screen display. Show on-screen display. Yes? I don't know what. No, Pistol, I don't have time right now. Additional on-screen properties. I don't know if that's gonna do anything for me. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up Riva Tuner, and we'll see. Because I know that when I have Riva Tuner open, I can actually do stuff. So this is interesting, right? So I have the game open. Oh, not OBS. Show me Warzone. So it looks like my 6 core and my 0 core are doing really good. But it looks like there's a huge amount of inconsistency here between 1 and 5. None of those guys want to actually move up at all, along with core number 11 here. I guess that's technically core 12 if this is core 1. Why didn't Riva Tuner open? The hell? Okay, so now I got Riva Tuner open. So we'll throw this guy up here. Modern Warfare Warzone. So let's see, on-screen display. Let's just go ahead and set like 160 as the frame rate. On-screen display fill. Zoom on that. So right now it's just showing me the time for some reason. So okay, so there's my frame counter. That's good. I forgot exactly what to turn on here. I hope that this is helping you guys a little bit see kind of what I'm seeing. For some reason, though, this isn't showing me. You know, I usually have a graph here to help out, and I don't know how to make that populate. Guess I gotta show statistics on frame buffer. I don't know. You know, I've done this one time before, and I was honestly following a YouTube tutorial when I did that, so... I don't see too much else here that I could actually... Nothing else here that I could actually really mess with. So let's get Riva Tuner out of the way. Let's see. Let's move Warzone just out of the way, like somewhere over here. So kind of what I'm seeing here, right, is the cores. These don't seem to be bottlenecking me. You know, if they were, I'd like to think that they were running at a much higher megahertz. Sensors on my GPU, you guys can see those here. Now, yeah, I do have my fans up decently high because I never want my GPU to overheat. And that's all zeroed out, so those are just standard. Looks like a GPU load of that, which is interesting because usually I'll have my NZXT cam open and it doesn't show me near that high of a value. So let's get that down. Yeah, so right now it's showing a GPU load of 0%. Now I'm curious, is it still detecting like my old GPU? Because this should... Hey, dog. Go do your own thing somewhere else. Come on. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be helping me at all. Okay, so don't trust this GPU load. We're going to go ahead and trust the one actually in here. Okay. So that kind of helps a little bit. So running at like 62% GPU load. Now, I suppose we could do like a safe overclock. I've tried like, yeah, let's go just like 100 and like 900 on here, somewhere around there. Okay, so well that changed a little bit of some stuff. So while the game's open, what are we looking at? 40%-ish, 58%. Also, I don't know if this helps you guys at all, but I'm looking at my GPU time to process my frames, bouncing around between 3 and 4 milliseconds up here. I'll go as high as 8 milliseconds there for a second. CPU time, 6 milliseconds. As soon as I go to move around, it goes to 10, 11. Yeah, I don't know. This is just some stuff that I found, trying to help you guys out as best as I can to help me out. I'm going to close out. Well, okay, so while I'm here, I'm going to show you guys my settings. So usually I'll have this guy in full screen. This is all the more VRAM that I'm using. Render resolution at 90. I've tried it at values as low as 66, as high as 110. This 90 seems to be the best range for frames that I've found. If I have it set to exactly so like when you're in full screen, you can't really mess around with this too much. 100 is going to be 1920 by 1080p. So I usually don't mess with that when it's in full screen mode. Aspect ratio, automatic, sync every frame disabled. Shit, absolutely destroys my frames when I try and use it. Custom frame rate limit, I have it set to 100 right now, or unlimited. Sometimes I will come over here and do custom, and I'll set it to where I find the most stable frames, whether that be 140 one day, or whether that be like just 100 the other day. Whatever I find that I get the most consistency with, but usually it's set to 100. Nvidia highlights disabled. I also got Nvidia reflex low latency disabled. All this stuff. Yeah, so as you guys can see, I'm in very low, and these are the frames that I'm getting. So, and I have tried it in normal, high. I can apply settings. It drops for a second, and then it usually goes back up. So, it doesn't seem to matter my texture resolution, which tells me that something in-game seems to be blocking my frames. And I'll go over that a little bit later, because I do a bunch of benchmarks, and I can pull 240 frames no problem consistently. Okay, so texture filter, and it's whatever. Low, bullet quality, or particle quality low, bullets, impacts, and sprays disabled, tessellation disabled. I usually have this guy set to off. I don't know why it's on right now. Shadow map resolution low, cache spot shadows disabled, sun shadows disabled, particle lighting low, ray tracing always leave that disabled, ambient occlusion disabled, SSR disabled, strength 1, Nvidia DLSS. I haven't noticed anything helping me if I have this set to quality or disabled. Dog, get your ass over there. God. Sorry, guys. Anti-aliasing disabled, depth of field disabled, motion blur disabled. All this stuff, it's pretty normal. Whenever you go to look at a YouTube tutorial for the best in-game settings, I've tried them all in here. Like, literally, I have tried everything in this area. Along with general, some dudes telling me that, like the gore stuff, wherever that's at, dismemberment and gore, some people are telling me that having it disabled gives me like, oh my god, like 15 extra frames. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I gave it a try. It didn't do anything for me. So that's pretty much all I got for Warzone. There's really not much that I can help here. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and close that out. I also have tried playing Warzone with all of this shit off, thinking that maybe my CPU is having too much trouble processing all of this extra bullshit, and it's not. I get those exact same frames, I get the exact same everything, whether this shit is open or closed. So let's move on to a couple of the benchmarks that I was telling you guys about. So one of my favorite ones is just Furmark. It's probably one of my favorite ones to run. I just realized something. I bet if I try and run this... Okay. So it's showing me that in my other window, and that's good because this screen right here is a 4K monitor at 60 megahertz refresh rate, and the other one is set to 240 megahertz refresh rate. It's also a 1080 screen instead of a 4K. Let's see if I pull this over here. Okay, yeah, so it looks the same over here as it does full screen over here. So as you guys can see, like 280, 290 frames. That's pretty freaking common. I've actually played around with this guy quite a lot. Sometimes I can get somewhere up to like 330 frames. But 290, almost 300 frames basically right now. Just hanging out, 300 frames. There's no reason that in Warzone I should only be getting XYZ frames. Sub 110 when I'm looking around. There's no reason for that. Not when I'm running a 3080. That doesn't make any damn sense. Okay, so yeah, I've done that test countless times, and it stays pretty consistent. So let's go ahead and just take a look at another one. So this one is Heaven DirectX 11 benchmark. I can't run in DirectX 12, which is fine. Resolution 1920 by 1080. Get that going, and we'll see if I can drag it over to the other screen. I can. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Overclocked too much. Okay, so let's zero that out. Just so that we can get this to run. Now, I have benchmarked this before, and I got a really, really good score from it. No, don't actually benchmark it. Let's see, my score, or my frames, it was really good, okay? You're just gonna have to trust me on that one. It was like a 239 average FPS. And if I take it over to this screen, let's come back up here to the top. So you got your WH info, I hope, anyway. If not, we can scroll up and down. You can pause it wherever you like. I'm just going to be posting this video so you guys can take a look wherever you need to. And I guess I'll do this for every program that I'm running so that you guys can pause it if you need to check everything out. Okay. I guess I'll go through the GPU sensors too. I don't know if any of this is going to help you guys or not, but that's pretty much all that I can think of that is going to help you guys kind of diagnose my problems. So let's go over some of these other things that were said. Yeah, just buying a GPU, not gonna happen. I just bought this guy, so. Ray tracing will take away your FPS. I do not use ray tracing. I did watch this video, or this might not be a video, but I did look at all of these links that you guys have sent me. First driver install, I did, and it went up to 150, as you can see, but it's inconsistent. As you guys saw in game, it stays at about 150, and then when I move my mouse, anywhere between 90 and 100 FPS. That just doesn't do for me. I don't like that. Maybe you optimize game. So I did check out this video, by the way, and I did what she said. I actually ended up going through GeForce Experience, optimizing everything for 1080p, seeing if that helped, mess around with just high performance, super low quality. And after none of that helped, I uninstalled GeForce Experience. I fucking hate it. I just get my drivers from the website. Hello, phone. Render resolution 4K. Yeah, so I tried this. I have it set to 1080p, and that didn't do anything, which sucks. I'm sorry. It feels like I'm kind of making this video just to let you guys know that I've tried all your stuff. I'm sorry. Just thought you said your CPU was set to 4300 gigahertz or 4300 megahertz, but on auto it should go up to 46. So it actually doesn't. I have tried my CPU-Z to check and see what's going on. Also the WH info. I've played around with the sensors, seeing where everything goes. I got up to 4600 megahertz. So if we go over to CPU-Z, or no, not CPU-Z. Which one was it? Is it this one? On the sensors? No, where is it? Hold on, let me just minimize this real quick. Where is it? Yeah, oh, it is actually CPU-Z. Okay, so I saw this multiplier. When I have it set to auto, this guy kind of bounces around, usually hovering around the, X40 to X43. That's usually where it goes. One time for like a split, I'm talking like 25 milliseconds, this flipped from 43 to 46, and then right back down to 40. So, I mean, in theory, yes, it can go to 4600 megahertz. It happens once every blue moon and for no more than a split freaking second. I think you hindered your single thread performance and altered multi-core perf. Computer base gets 150 FPS from a 3900X with 2080 Ti. Computer base. Now, I haven't heard of that one. I think Warzone does not profit from more than 6 cores, so disabling SMT could help you too, and you can quickly test it. Sorry, I just looked around. SMT does not bring more or less FPS in Warzone. So I'm guessing SMT, you're talking about simultaneous multi-core threading, I'm guessing. I haven't really played around with that too much. Oh, there is another thing I forgot to show you guys. I'll get to that at the end. Hello, please don't look up YouTube videos on how to. Okay. I don't know why. And then you post, a video. They're lies except for the ones that are trusted. Okay, so not everything you hear on the internet is, true. Okay. This most definitely will solve your problem. I will tell you that I watched this video and it most definitely did not solve my problem. This is just talking about Nvidia control panel. That's, I guess, another thing that I should show you guys is my Nvidia control panel. So I'll pull that up real quick, since you brought up that video. Okay, manage 3D settings. Well, actually, let's just go to adjust preview real quick. Okay, so in one of the videos that I saw, it was like, okay, click this. Bring this down to all the way performance instead of quality. Hit apply. Then, hit back at the middle button and click apply. And now you're done with this setting. Okay, cool, did that. Image sharpening, I always leave that shit off, because every video tells me to do it, and frankly, I lost like 20 frames when this was set to on, or whatever the sharpening scale was. Yeah, pretty much everything in here, power management mode, prefer maximum performance, preferred refresh rate, highest available. Texture filtering quality, high performance. Virtual reality, pre-rendered frames, 1. There's not too much in here that I can actually do. Program settings, I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare, up, okay, and all of these settings are pretty much the exact same. Okay. Changing the resolution, as you guys can see, it is at 1920 by 1880 with a 240 hertz refresh rate. And these, I have tried them both. None of these don't matter, whichever one I choose. So, simply does not matter. Yeah, so there's my Nvidia control panel, for those of you that might have wanted to see that. So we'll go ahead and close that. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys, I wanted to bring up, because I know that somebody's gonna watch this and be like, "Hey, you didn't do this, so I'm gonna do it." Okay. So all I did was open up BattleNet, went to Show and Explore, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Cool stuff. Okay, so click on this, properties. Hey, check it out. Compatibility. Disable full screen optimizations. Run this program as administrator. Change high DPI. Override. Yes. Okay. Okay. Also did it for the launcher. Exact same thing, because this is what another one of those videos told me to do. So, I did that. And I didn't change anything. There was one other thing that I wanted to show you guys, since we're still talking about Modern Warfare. And that is going to my documents, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, players, your advanced options. Hey, check it out. I have tried this so many different times. Okay, so I have had this set to as high as 0.9 before. It didn't have a change. I've also had this set to 6 for half of my actual cores, because I have a 12-core, 24-thread processor, right? I've tried it at 6. I've tried it at 12. I think I tried at 8 as well. It didn't change anything, you know. Well, no. Okay, so when I had this set to 6, when I had it set to half of my actual number of cores, I did lose like 10 or 15 frames. So I put it back to 12, and I gained those 10 to 15 frames back. Okay? I actually don't want this to be that high. Not that it actually matters, but... So there was another cool thing. I've also deleted this. I've also deleted the config file before, relaunched the game, and tried it with all new settings. It did not help. I've also uninstalled and reinstalled all of my Nvidia drivers. That was what got me to 150 frames in the first place. So I'm kind of getting close to my wit's end here, guys. Any input that you guys need would be super helpful, or any input that you guys can provide would be super helpful. I'll pull this guy back up, just make sure I didn't forget anything. So you're telling me that 4.3 gigahertz was going to bottleneck me. Everything that I have researched said that that is, you know, not the case. I've seen guys playing with like 4 gigahertz with like a 2070. So I think that you were actually saying it. Is reporting 270 FPS with 4 gigahertz. Yeah. Your RTX, or your 3900X RTX 3080 combo should be outperforming that. Now, I don't think it's the CPU. My only other suggestion is clean driver installs with updated drivers. Something running in the background robbing the game of system performance. Okay. So yeah, 4.3 gigahertz shouldn't be bottlenecking me, especially when, while the game is running, you know, it looks like this, if not just a little bit more. So my CPU doesn't seem to be bottlenecking me at all. Okay, so yeah, as I said kind of near the beginning of the video, I have tried playing the game with all of this shit off, including MSI Afterburner. I've tried it with literally no other program running. I get the exact same performance. I've tried it with just MSI Afterburner. I can usually pull like 1 or 2 extra frames when I have the core clock and the memory clock set to high. Oh, that's not the right one. I think that was just a test. Yeah, so there's really... I'm super lost here, guys. I could use all the help that I can get. G-Sync was not enabled, and I did watch this. Didn't help me too much. I do appreciate this. I mean, you got on here just super fast and helped me out a little bit. Unfortunately, I had already... I did try these performance and didn't see any improvements, unfortunately. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone over everything, pretty pleased. Yeah, as I showed you in GPU-Z, you know, everything's running in X16 4.0. And I do try running it in full screen. I know that Windows destroys my FPS. I know that. I looked at this. It doesn't. So maybe one of you guys can make a video for me showing me how to overclock it properly, because the overclocking that I do evidently is not working. If I have it water cooled, I should try 4.3 to 4.7. Unless I am running like 1.49 volts through, I'm not going to get it up to 4.7 gigahertz. And at that point, if I even tried to think about running my Cinebench R15, I would probably be getting close to 94 degrees Celsius. Running it in auto, it crashes as soon as I try 4.4. So if I have my volts set to auto, right, the best that I can get is 4.3. If I have my volts set high, I can stable 4.3. If I set it any higher, I can sometimes get 4.4 gigahertz with Windows booting up just fine. 4.5 simply refuses to boot up Windows, and it crashes instantly. So the best that I could possibly be looking at getting is 4.4, or at least my way. Okay? So if you can show me a better way, or even like an exact like measurement that I should be doing, like, hey, you need to be running like 1.47932 volts, and force it to go up to 4.46 gigahertz, then you'll be just fine. If you can tell me to do that, then I'll do it. But otherwise, I can't seem to get past 4.4. Okay, now that I'm done with that little bit of a rant. Also, don't forget to update the motherboard BIOS. I did do that yesterday. I had my brother come down and help me because he knows way more about computers than I do. And he helped me do an update. There was an update from like last month or 2 months ago, so I was able to update that. But that unfortunately didn't solve any of my issues. So with that being said, yeah, any further help would be super much appreciated. I appreciate all of you guys for your quick responses. I only posted this a couple days ago, so you guys just jumping on here has already helped me out a lot. Just looking for a little bit more. So peace out, guys.